For decades, we have seen this common sequence of events as males as we age, right? You grow up playing a sport, you're very active, you never really have to think about what you're eating because you're a kid, you're in your teen years, and you're just moving so much, right? So again, you barely even have to think about what you're putting into your body. You can eat anything and still be in relatively good shape, right? And then sort of in your 20s, then you start to kind of take your health a little bit more seriously, right? You start going to the gym every single week. You want to gain some muscle mass. You learn just enough about nutrition and diet just in order to gain some good muscle mass, right? But then in your 30s, this is when it starts to happen. So now you're moving less, eating the same as you kind of were in your 20s, right? And 8 hours of sleep is like a luxury now to you because of how stressed and busy you are. So of course, like most men experience, right, you gain the belly fat. Your energy starts declining. You feel weird. You feel different. You feel worse than you ever have, and you don't quite know why, right? You understand that life is changing and you're getting older, but again, you don't understand why it's all happening right now. This is the life that literally millions of men experience, and it just continues on into their 40s, 50s, 60s plus, never being able to get a grip on your health, and it just keeps on going, right? And so, like I said, around that 30-year-old age range with men, this is when we start to see the start of the decline, right? All of those graphs that you've seen with the declining testosterone, declining energy levels, the increases in high blood pressure, rates of diabetes, right? Cortisol and stress spike. Again, all at that 30-year-old range. And we see these common trends. And so after seeing these for decades, right, in men after 30, now everyone is inclined to just think the decline of your health is inevitable, right? When you hit that 30-year-old age range, your health is supposed to decline. And that's what everybody thinks because it's so common among men. And so today I'm here to tell you that all of that is completely false, right? And like I explained, what comes along with those decreases and increases, right? The decreases in your testosterone and energy levels, increases in cortisol, stress, high blood pressure, all these things. In addition to those, right? One of the most common things we see is fat gain, especially in that stomach belly area, commonly called the dad bod, right? Or the beer belly. Everyone knows it when they see it. Almost every man has it right now, right? Especially in those later years. Nobody likes it, but nobody really knows how to get rid of it. And so that is exactly what we're talking about. That's exactly what I'm explaining today. That decline is not inevitable as you age, and how to actually get rid of that excess belly fat that you see, that you hate so much, and that you think and wonder, is this just how it goes, right? Can I even get rid of this? And are some people just in a better position to get rid of it? Because obviously not every man over 30 is out of shape, right? But I would say probably 70% of men are out of shape in their later years. And so again, you're wondering, is it just me? Like, am I just not an exception to good health? No. And let's talk about why. So again, the most common trend we see here from your 20s to your 30s plus is simple: moving less and eating the same or more as you did in your 20s, right? So calories in versus out, and just the exchange of energy, again, in and out. And most men blame their increase in fat storage around that stomach area after 30. Most men blame that on the slowing down of their metabolism, right? They think that, oh, in my 20s and my teen years, of course, right, my metabolism was crazy high. I could eat anything and still be in shape, still be skinny, or obviously not fat, right? But now in my 30s, my metabolism is just slowing down. Though I did some research and I found an article and a study coming out of Duke University, right? And it found that our metabolism doesn't even slow down until 60 years old, right? And that our 20-year-old to our 50 years old, that age range there, again, from 20 to 50, that is when our metabolism is the most stable. And even after the age of 60, like I said, that's when metabolism starts to slow down inevitably because of age. But even then, it's only 1% every single year, right? And so it's not your metabolism slowing down after 30. Again, it's the most stable than it's ever been, right, in that 20 to 50-year-old age range. And so if it's not your metabolism slowing down, what is the actual cause of this enlargement of your waist, of that pudgy look, of that skinny fat physique? What is the cause of this? I have 4 answers for you. The first one, like I said, is simply energy in versus out. When you were in your teen years, when you were in your 20s, this was when you are the most active, right? And you have the least amount of responsibility. Now, again, starting at that 30-year-old age range, give or take 5 or 10 years, right? Most men experience, something sudden happening in their life in terms of responsibility. Like I said, a big job, building their business, a family, something suddenly happening that takes a lot of their time, right? A big responsibility. And so they start moving less when they think they aren't, right? They're still working out, they're still trying to get outside and get their walks in. But again, just moving less again throughout the day, right? Thinking, fidgeting, stupid things, walking, right? Like when you're in your 20s, you're always doing something. And then as you age, you move less and less. And so again, it's not your metabolism, it's simply your daily habits and your activity habits now. A lot of less movement, but you're still eating the same, if not more. And so that's energy in versus out. It used to be a lot of energy out, pretty good energy in, and now it's a lot of energy in and much less energy out. And so that's the first piece, right? If you want to start dropping off this excess body fat in your later years, again, it's not inevitable with age. It's your lifestyle factors that you have full control to change. And the first piece is obviously the calorie deficit, making sure that you have your calories in versus out under control like they used to be. And that is why it used to be in such great shape when you were in your 20s. The second one is muscle tissue and the absence of muscle tissue. All right, if you didn't know, muscle tissue burns more calories than fat tissue does, right? So the more muscle mass you have on your frame, the more calories you are naturally just going to burn throughout the day. Again, because your body has to burn calories to maintain and to grow muscle tissue. Right? And so, again, especially in your later years, 40, 50, 60s, this is when men are starting to lose muscle mass because they're working out less or because they're not eating enough protein, getting enough sleep, right? All of these lifestyle factors, again, that you are in so control over, right? But again, as you age, people are seeing less and less or a larger reduction in muscle tissue, and that does slow your metabolism down. Not just because of age, but because as you age, you're working out less and you're losing muscle tissue, if that makes sense, right? So I hope you're staying with me. It seems like it's age is the factor that our metabolism is slowing down, but it's really your lifestyle factors as you age and the difference and the gap that there is from your 20s now into your 40s, 50s. So again, that first piece, a proper caloric deficit. Second piece here, and what you can actually start to change with your daily habits and lifestyle is now strength training, weightlifting consistently each week. And it's not more is better. Like you have to be going 6 days a week, right? It just depends on however many days you can be consistent with. Maybe that's only 3 days a week. That doesn't matter as long as you are consistent with that, right? But that second piece here and what you can start to fix tomorrow or today after watching this video is starting to properly strength train every single week, focusing on building more muscle tissue and in return, burning more calories, making it easier to stay in a calorie deficit like we talked about in step 1, so you can eat more, burn more, and obviously get the results you want with the fat loss and getting the great physique. The third one is too many carbs, right? And you're thinking, I thought carbs were good. Everyone online right now, especially in the fitness industry, is trying to change that narrative of everyone used to think carbs are bad. And now everyone in the fitness industry is saying carbs are good, and that's true. Carbs are amazing. And so what I'm saying in step 3 and part 3 here with too many carbs is that you are eating too many carbs, right? Because they're so easy to consume. Carbs are king. Carbs are amazing. Carbs are so important in terms of my own diet, right? And so what I mean by too many carbs is that you need to still watch out for your carbs, right? Make sure that you are structuring out your nutrition like this, right? Every meal has a protein anchor. That's the first thing you're thinking about. What is my protein source for this meal? Every single meal, right? And then what carb source am I going to pair with it? If that's rice, if that's bread, if that's potatoes, fruit, a carb source, and then what small amount of fats can I add in. Realistically, you don't need to add fats every single meal. You're already getting pretty much the needed amount if you're consuming some good meats, for example, right? But again, you want that protein anchor, you want some good fats, making sure depends on your body weight, but I would say a universal benchmark is about 70 grams of fat, right? But again, it very depends on your body weight, activity level, everything like that. But if you do 70 grams of fat, you do 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight for protein, the rest of your calories with carbs, right? So again, right now you're eating too many carbs, not enough protein. You need to switch it a little bit. You don't need more than 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, right? But then after that protein is already controlled every single day with every meal and every daily intake, right? The rest of your calories should be consumed of carbs so that you can get the proper energy, not just for your workouts, not just physically, but also cognitively, right? As a business owner myself, if I wasn't consuming as many carbs as I am every single day, I wouldn't be able to think as clearly as I do. I wouldn't have as much energy as I do, right? So the cognitive performance is just as, if not more important than the physical improvements and benefits that you get from consuming enough carbohydrates. So when I say too many carbs, it's that yes, you are slightly eating too many carbs right now because they're so easy, right? But tone it back, get your macros in check with the other 2 steps that we talked about, and you're already on your way, right? Just by fixing these first 3, you're already gonna start seeing some amazing results. And the 4th element of this video that I have for you is poor sleep and recovery. Simple as that. Nobody is protecting their sleep as much as they need to be, all right? Poor sleep causes a slower metabolism because of the increases in cortisol and stress, right? And also with poor sleep, your hunger hormones get messed up, ghrelin and leptin, the hormones that allow you to feel hungry and feel full, right? So when your poor sleep is obviously very apparent in your life right now, you're gonna have more cravings. Your body's not going to be able to efficiently break down carbs and sugars. It's going to store them as fat rather than as energy, if that makes sense, right? And so it all comes down to that sleep. Like, that is the glue that holds everything together. That's what I explain to my clients, right? Sleep is the glue that holds everything together. You can have everything else in check, your workouts, your meals, whatever, right? But if your sleep is not in check, nothing else actually matters. And so this is the most important piece that we're talking about today, and how you can actually achieve 10% body fat as a male, 30 plus years old, right? If you're that 45-year-old age range, this is where most men think it's too late for them to get in shape, too late for them to get lean. It is not. No matter what age you are, I always say the threshold, if you're 80 years old, maybe age starts to become a factor with how healthy you can get, all right? But if you're under 80 years old, you have no excuse. Stop using your age as an excuse and start protecting your sleep, which is the absolute largest asset when it comes to great health and achieving a great physique despite age, right? So again, sleep and recovery, so important. It messes with your hunger hormones, does slow down your metabolism, right? And then of course increases your stress and everything like that. And so I hope you've learned just something in this video, right? It is 100% possible for you to get down to 10% body fat. Exactly what I'm at now. Maybe I'm at a little bit lower, single digits, 8 or 9%, whatever. You can get lean no matter how old you are. It all comes down to your lifestyle factors. And if you follow these 4 steps and elements that I talked about in this video, I can guarantee you 100% that you will see amazing results. So again, I hope you learned something. If you're at all interested in what I do and interested in joining my coaching program, where you will get the personalized approach, including all of these obviously 4 elements and so much more, just for you with the personalized results, of course, head over to my Instagram, right? I'll leave a link in the description of this video. DM me the word ready. That obviously tells me that you are ready and you watch this video and you're ready to take it to the next level. So go ahead, do that. Drop me a follow on Instagram. Drop a subscription on this YouTube channel. And I'll see you in the next video.